No, before design the whole thing. Hello? Yeah, like the Figma file itself. There's no one in. Oh, there's no one. Who's that now? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, guys. Welcome to my streaming. Um, we are just setting up, and we'll begin soon. So if you want to interact with the stream, you can go to the type message section or the chat section, and you can just like wave to let me know that you can hear me and you are listening to my stream. Mm. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Um, Probably should turn off the video. So I think we would wait for a couple of minutes before we start. About 5 minutes is fine. What do you think, Kelvin? Okay. The network is better now. Kelvin.
Yeah, so let's do like 3 minutes. We can just start like within 3 minutes. We can just start after 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so I hope this session is being recorded. I'll just share my screen and then we look at the end product of what we're going to design today would be. And oh, hello. I think that's Daniel again. Uh, and then we'll look at how our recording is going to end up, how the whole session is going to end up. So like the UI Kelvin had, and I had some chance to go through it. And I think I just looked at some of the features and some of the UI and then looked at how well to improve it. So let me just share my screen and then you start. Okay. Okay. So I think this is Pixel 6, right? The screen. Let me check from there. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think so. I think it's Android. Yeah, it's Pixel 6. Yeah. So this is the weather app design that we are going to do today. We're going to have fun. We're going to explore various elements. As you can see, you have the beautiful UI with location, the dates, the actual like data. You have the cloudy, the icons and everything showing over there. Um, you also have the section where you can actually, um, get to see humidity and all that. And that section is also something we will look at in the aspects of contrast when it comes to contrast. Um, so basically, we're just going to design this UI for today. I really hope this session is recording so we can actually have access to it. Okay, so I'll duplicate this file and design from there. Okay. Okay, so this is what Kelvin did. We have the first one, which is Android, and let me see the yeah Android. So basically an Android phone. So this is basically a large frame. So with Figma, when it comes to like designing anything, you start from frames. So frames are more or less your canvas to build your designs in. So we are going to start with learning about like what particular frame to use. So when you tap F, we have different types of frames. We have the iPhone 11 Pro, we have the Android small and then Android large. So when you're designing for, let's say, big screens, you use the Android large. When you're designing for small screens, you use the Android small. But we could go with what Kelvin went with. So we could do Android large. And yeah, so basically we have our canvas to start from. So let's just write our topic, our problem, our brief. We'll be using Roboto today just for instructional purposes. Roboto is really simple to use. Quite um, it's quite simple and accessible. So you could just use it in any of your applications or in any of your designs. So let's start. So we have design a weather app. That is it. Okay, hi, Kathy. Hi, welcome to the stream. So today we are going to do a weather app. So if you just joined, yeah, so we are designing a weather app. This is the end product. So we already have the end product here, but we want to explore more of how we got, how we got here. So most of the time, I start with, the idea. We are trying to showcase what the weather app would show. So you have like the actual elements of the the big elements, which is basically showcasing the temperature and then also the weather forecast per se, like if it's cloudy, it's rainy or something, it showcases that. And you have some details under, and then you have the menu. Um, this is the this more or less like much more of like an interactive menu for you to be able to interact with it. It's like a minimal button, but then it doesn't look like a button. It looks more like a drawer with different menu items. So I think we'll start with the text. So we'll just document our text over here to make things simple. So we have place. I don't need to type everything, but I just need you to follow along so that when you're designing your own thing, it will be easier. So you start with place. We have dates and have title and also humidity, wind speed. You can also have the rain probability. So basically, I'll just name every single thing here title. So just do this, duplicate, and I'm done. So to duplicate, you just hold on Control and then you tap on D. I think that's really easy. Or you can just right click and then yeah, so you just right click and then you copy and then you paste. So copy and paste. And yeah, basically that's it. Okay, so let's do the other section, which is basically the values. So is this, so you have value, and then you can just like the same mojo, duplicate, duplicate. And then you have your big button. So the big button, I'll just put a rectangle over here to kind of give me an idea of what I'm about to create. So yes, so basically this is very, very raw. This is very, very simple. At the same time, it's very, you know, um, modular and quite easy. We can also have a rectangle over here. We can have a rectangle too over here. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be our card. You can center it. You can center all these things. Yes. So we are using Roboto. The font is Roboto. You can use any other font you like. My favorite font would be DM Sans. It's very, very nice, aesthetic, and it fits in every case. So you can see how good it looks. Um, so yeah, we'll be using Roboto for today. Let's get right into it. So before we start, we are going to design the um, we are going to make sure we enter all the details. So we can just copy the details from this side and then place them so that we don't need to write all the details over there. We are going to use black and white most of the time because of the um, we want to have a basic like wireframe before we input the details in. So when we do that, when we input the details, it becomes easier for us to change the color after the fact. So we have the date also here. We just copy and then paste that too. So I'll just be copying and pasting. So you can just like follow and then write some of the text in. Yeah. Okay. So there's also one trick in Figma I really like. You can actually copy, something, and when you when you select, I think yeah. So let's say you want to copy 55, you copy it, and then when you select the place you want to paste it, you can right click and go to paste to replace. So you click paste to replace, and then it replaces all of the text. It's a really cool thing, and it makes it easier for you to just work with. Let's say if you want to replace a lot of a particular text in mind, you can just do that, and then you don't have to, change each of them one by one, and it saves you time. But for this one, we are, trying to get everything. So rain probability is 30%. Okay. So you have this over here. Okay, so basically, I'm just entering details. So you could just like follow on with the actual like design layout, how the design is looking like. So yeah, so basically, use that time to build like this particular thing, the box here, and then also the box over there. Okay, no new person has joined. Okay, so if you're following, now we have all the details here. But what we need to do is to create this particular UI. Since I showcased it, so I'm just trying to showcase the process in doing that. So we have our details all over here. We don't need to worry about anything. So for this particular section of the titles, we we can choose to leave it at regular. So this is called the font. This is called actually the font width. So you can leave it at regular, and then it will look like a normal text, or you can change the weight of it to be a bit heavier. And with the values too, you can leave it at regular too, but because you want the values to stand out and to be the immediate contact visually, so you have to set it apart, and that's something that's called contrast. So setting it as semi bold is also a good choice. So we can select all of this and you know use regular. As I said, today this session is going to be very, very experimental. We're going to experiment with different colors and different things. So yeah, so we are just going to have this grouped, and grouping is it's pretty simple. You just select and then you press Control and then G, and then it groups everything. Um, you know, very very well. You could change the distance between them. I would like to always go for 16 multiples of 4 and 8. Um, Distance is very very important because it's you can actually show how well your content is displayed and how you know free and spacious your UI can be, and it's something that can spoil or make your design, and it's something that you should always have in mind. So we can also decrease the spacing here too. You can make it 16, and we can select both of them and then align them together. As you can see, we have the labels or the titles, and we have the values over here, and we can bring them a bit closer. I think 90 is fine, and then group them and center them. So yeah, we have basically done our um, we've basically finished with the writing part. Now we need to get into the design part where it's going to be a bit grimy, and we are going to like go through some up and downs. But yeah, so let's get right into it. So if you don't have so right now we need icons. So one of the things I do is I use the plugins. So some of the plugins that gives you icons is further icons. So you can take your time, go to Figma, go to communities, and you can search further icon to get like a really cool icon for the application that you are designing. Um, So if you've downloaded Feather Icon, we can just proceed from there. There's also Icon Bay, but I think we are going to use Feather Icon. I don't know yet, but then I think you're going to use Feather Icon. But I just wanted to try the other icons to see whether it works. Let me check something. I would want to. Okay, okay. I want to have more access. Okay, so this Icon Bay. So basically, this icon is a bit minimalist, and it's evokes some kind of playfulness, and helps you to be able to create designs that feel minimal and has a lot of spacing, and it's very warming to users. So you can choose the particular type of icon that you want to use. So I'll be going. I would want to use this, but let's just try the feather icon and see if that one will beat this one. Okay, so with the feather icon, there isn't much like there aren't much icons
Icons
in
in
like in the
like in the plugin.
there aren't
There
much.
aren't much.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. I can hear you.
Wait,
Wait,
what?
what?
Okay. Hello, hello. Now I can hear myself. That's why I muted. Sorry. Okay, so with the feather icon, we can have a really really clean icon to to bring everything together. So with the feather icon, we can search for the icons that are here. We have first of all we have the rain, so we have cloud, we have it here, and then we have this thing which I don't know. So I'll use analytics. Or let me just try. Okay, you have something like that also there. So you can place all your icons. It's like you're about to cook, right? So when you're about to cook something, you have to bring all the ingredients. Sometimes it's very, very important to have all your icons on your canvas. And then you can be able to know, okay, maybe this doesn't fit well. Maybe the onion doesn't fit well. So you can change that and then use garlic. So it's very, very important to just have your icons on your, on your Figma file. And then, as you're designing, you can actually, tweak it and then use another icon, or, like experiments. And design is all about experimentation and iteration. Design is trying to solve a problem. So every time you are supposed to have in mind that what you see it's not going to be the final value. It's not going to be the final thing. So always have an open mind, and always don't feel like it doesn't look nice, because if you look at this doesn't look all amazing, but then as we are designing, as we are like tweaking, as we are iterating, you see that this is going to look um, better than before. And that's how design is, leaving things better than they are before, solving a problem and making things better for users to use. So yeah, so basically, if you just joined, I just wanted to like give that small speech. Let's look for our next icon, which is, let's say, the location. So let's look for location. Yes, so we have our location too, very clean, minimal, neat. And the last one is, I think, is going to be newspapers or explore. Hmm. Okay, so the last one, I think the last one is either newspapers or explore. I think we can actually get something that's, a bit close to, the icon. So I think we could use, um, we could use this. So yes, so we could use even though it's a layout, even though it's a layout icon, it fits right into what we are going for. And like I said, we're just experimenting and trying to find what works. With the other icon, so I think would add a notification icon, to bring everything together. And then with the clouds, I'd love for us to create a cloud, but I don't know if we even if I don't know if we have the time. So I'll just import the clouds from here. So you have the cloud, and we have a really nice one. Let's see. This is rainy. So we can even import everything, and then we'll figure it out as we are, later. So I think this is snow, and yeah. So basically showers, tender, and then this is cloudy. Yes. So yeah. So basically, this is what we came up with. And yeah, so basically you have other, icons that you can use for the set. But then, as I said, like it's all about iterating. So we can change the actual. We can actually change the actual like size of it. So what we do in Figma is, if you don't want to disrupt the size, you can just click on this constraint proportion, so that it makes all of the size. So when you're pulling it, everything stays intact. Or when you add the actual, like when you change the height, all of the height and then the width change together, and then it fits the right proportion. So we can have 48. 48 is fine. But if we look at our design here, the icon is a bit bigger, and it's really, really showing what we are going for. So I'd go for 64. Yep. So I think 64 is a very cool number to have. And this icon is very, very nice. Um, yeah, I think this is fine. This is fine. And then we also have to have a text in there. So we can just create a text. So we just tap T and then create the text. And we can increase the um, the size of the text. So we can have 64. But mostly for mobile, you shouldn't use more than 40. Sometimes you didn't use more than 32, but 40 is like the highest limit you can use. So we can have 20 over here. So we have 20 here. So 20 is the degrees. So we already have, our text over there. We used 64 here, but I'd want us to use 20 and try something new. Okay. I'd want us to use 40 so that we can try something new. Okay, so basically we're going to also label it. So you're going to have a label at the top. So we can have and then write temperature. We'll change the size, so don't worry. It looks basa, but then that's how design is. It takes time and intentions. You need to actually put a good intention into what you're doing. So you have the temperature over here, and the temperature itself is going to be here. And then you have the icon over there. And yeah, so basically what the icon is about, you have to also put that in there. So we have cloudy, and we have the refill, which is basically a data. And we can also drop that, sorry, can also drop that in here. Okay, so I think black is too much. I think bold is no. Okay, black is definitely cool. Um, so yes, so every single thing we are doing, we want everything to come together. So there's also one thing I would like to go through with basically auto layouts. I'm just going to do the auto layout. I think I would have a session on auto layouts later. Um, it's a really cool tool in Figma to kind of have your designs made quickly without, you know, going through so many iterations of like dragging and dropping and making mistakes and undoing and all that. It's very, very fast and it makes, your design, quite simple. So yeah, so let's just try out to layout. So we have four elements here. So we select one, select the other, select the other, and then select the last one. And then we tap on Shift and then A. So when we tap Shift and A, the magic happens, and then we see we have an auto layout entry over here. So what we can do is we can actually space them apart. Normally, I use 72. Normally, I use 72 for most of the menus. Um, and then the constraints. I think this is something the margin. This is something that's also something we'll look at. But then create effects with putting it in a frame or grouping it, and then using so let's say I want to have these two icons. So I can bring them there, do my rectangle, like hey, it's too long. So what Figma does is auto layouts makes things very, very simple. So we have these two icons over here, and I want to center them. I have to, group them and then center them within the rectangle. So as you can see, if I want them to be, I want them to look like a menu. So if I center them and I group them, they become one element. Okay, and these are the icons. And if I want to separate them, I have to, hold one and then shift it to the other side, and I have to hold one and shift it to the other side. But with auto layouts, I don't need to do all this. This is so much work. So basically that's the reason why we need to have auto layouts. And you see, with auto layouts, with a normal, grouping, you have spacing within each element, and you can see the spacing is not always equal. But with auto layouts, the spacing is always equal. You get to have like correct pixel spacing, and it helps with developing when you want to develop your app. Okay, so let's just get right into the beef, and let's just keep designing. I'm going to be quiet for a while, maybe 1 minute, then I'll go through some of the designs. You can follow along. I'll state where there needs to be some features. If there isn't, I wouldn't say anything. Okay, but before we start, Surf, let's also go through layout. So layout grid is something really important. So mostly I just keep it in four, so the count is four, and then it always stays as stretch. And then the margin I do 16, and then the gutter. So gutter is like the gutter that you see around you, where the water passes through. So basically the middle, that's the gutter, and then the margins are basically the spacing at the edges. So that helps you to constrain your designs in a more convenient way. So grids are very, very useful for you know beginner level designers. So let's just get right to the chase. So you're going to put every single thing we talked about into the grid. So the group will be going this way. The group going will be this way. Okay. And center this. No, I think would keep as 90, and then would iterate as time goes on. So that's the whole point of like doing this. We're going to iterate gradually. So with a menu, I'm going to use the same logic. So the margin is going to be 32, 16. Let's try 12. Okay, I'm feeling this. So we're trying to make it fit the grid we have. So you can try 8. Yes. Now you can see that 8 fits exactly the kind of grid we want. And then what we can do is this. We can actually look at like the size. You can see it's perfectly the right, like the right spacing. You get the right, there's no 8 point something, it's the right spacing with something that's really, really cool if you're developing. With the corner radius, I mostly go for the bigger number. So 64 is a big number. And then when you put the fill on it, you have this. So you can also put shadows over here. For now, we'd go with 10, and then we'll do 3, then we'll do 15. So this is the normal shadow that we mostly know. But you can see that there's something wrong. This part is too close, you know, to the edges. So what we can do is this. We can bring these things together and then auto layout again. But this time we'll use 64. 64. And then bring this together. Yes. So now we have our elements a bit distanced. But you can see that still there's something going on. It's still close. It's still too close. So what we can do is to give 16, and then we have it a bit apart from our layout. So you can see that it's 20. So that's also the math in design. When you do something here, it affects the spacing in the whole component. So you have to add the numbers to know the spacing within. But this has to do with development. So we're just going to go right into like designing the actual app. I place the shadows just for explanation, like just to kind of like start from somewhere, and then we are going to actually design and then change the shadows, the colors of each of the components. So the color that I'm going to pick today is just random. I'm just going to pick anything here, and then bring my scale over that side. I like this color, so I'm going to keep this color. I can check the hex of it, so I'll keep the number, and I'll just put the number here. Or I can put, instead of the number, I can put the actual color there, so that it's very, very simple to just click and press I, the color picker, and then click on it, and then to change that color. Okay. Let's say I want to change all of this. I can click on I, and then it changes the whole color. Okay. So we are learning a lot today. So far we've gone through a lot of features on Figma, but we have to end the session, so we have to finish the design. So I'll speed run this so that we can have you know, a really complete design at the end, and then we'll go through them. Okay.
Let's speak about multi-select. So some of them might be used to multi-select shapes.
Huh?
Like something with keys.
Okay. Yeah, hello Elena, hello Ngozi, hello everyone, Giovanni, those that have joined. Hello. So what you can do is you can let me know you are actually listening to our session by just going to the chat and then just waving. Just put a wave sign over there. Just go to your emoji, wave over that side, and I'll know that you guys are interacting with what we are doing. Okay. So so let's just continue. Oh, okay. So basically, Kelvin asked the question about multi-select. So to multi-select, you can press on Control, and then you just drag the box, and then it selects anything that enters the box. Or you can select by using Shift, by holding on Shift, click the actual item you need, Shift, click another item, Shift. So you hold on Shift, and then you click the item, and then so far as you've clicked all of them, you have this box here to show that you've multi-selected these visual items. Okay, I hope it's a bit clearer. Okay, thank you. So let's just get into the design itself. So hello Ngozi. Hello Ngozi. Yeah, you're invited to speak though. You just have to turn on your camera. You have to turn on your mic. Oh, okay. I think um it might be her network. Okay, so let's just cut to the chase. So basically, I make this thing FFF. FF is basically white, and then 00000 is black. So that's something that you should know as a designer. But the fun part is, you're a designer and you're watching this, you could, certainly have fun with this. And yeah, so basically what we are going to do is we're going to kind of like give it a very milky, or more or less some like different white. So what we do, I'll play around with HSB. So basically I'll make this 90, or I can make this 90. Let's do 92. 90, 92. And then I can change the bar, and I can make, change the color. To see the color, you can, bring off this. So we can actually change the color to match the mood we are going for. So if you are going for a very expressive mood, we can choose a very bright color. But if you're going for a calm mood, we can choose yellow, red, or we can choose the burgundy option too. Nice. So yeah, so basically we have FF here. When I use FD, 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 and then it gives me the same white color, but a bit, mild, and it gives you that kind of different approach. So yeah, so you're going to do the same thing to this one too. FD, 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 FD. Yes. Now let's just get right to the card. So there's the card that we're going to look at. So with a card, we can make it bigger, but we are trying to replicate the design. So we're going to let it be that way. We're going to let it stay the same. But we're going to add a button over here to kind of occupy this free white space. So basically, yes, any space that is empty is called a white space. So it doesn't mean that it has to be white. Okay, so yeah, so we can add a button like, okay, show, let's say show analytics, show weather. Yeah, let's say this show weather reports, or show full weather reports. So show full weather. Okay, so we are done. So we could take the color from here, and then we have show weather, full weather report, and we could make this, since the button, it needs to be more, it needs to be a bit. So for buttons we normally use, so this is a secondary button. There's a secondary button that's used in most apps. So we normally use 16, 18. 16 is fine. 20 is the best option for all, screens. So we're going to go with 20. But if we look at the design now, we can see that it has, it's taking all the attention. So we can bring it down to, let's say, 16, and then 16 is okay. And then we can make it a bit, give it, I think the light is fine. I think this is okay. Okay, so let's get right to the card. So with the card, I'm going to make this ash. So you're looking for ash color. How do we get an ash color? We can get an ash color by doing the same HSB, but we can increase the brightness to 15. We're almost there. We can increase it more. Let's do 50. It's fine. So let's just get right into it. So basically we have the ash color here. So cloudy. So I'm just going to keep quiet for a while, and then just enjoy the design. Okay.
Okay, so while Hakim is designing, if you have any question, you can leave it in the chat. Okay. Once he's done, he would explain certain things, what he did.
Okay, so I think we have everything intact now. So right now we can play around with some of the tools. So to make this exciting, so basically like we're going to play around with some of the things that we have here. So right now we have a very cool background. So if you can see from our design file, there's not much going on, but if you look at like the prototype, you see how well it looks on mobile, and you see, oh, like what you're doing is actually like looking nice, and that's something as a designer you should be doing. You should be looking at how it looks at the end. Um, this is just a simple like design, but then there are so many things that are around it. So you can see that the shadows here, these two shadows, they are quite like floating because of like the shadows be added to it. So the drop shadow effect, the more numbers you add on the blur, the more it becomes immersive. If you want to add more, you can add. So you see when you put the numbers, it keeps going down. So you can keep it at 8. 8 is fine. So 6 is like the maximum I chose. And there's also something called the spread. So spread is more like you are spreading the shadows across the actual card. So you can see that it has that kind of effect. So most of the time I just keep, sometimes you can do it negative, and the negative gives it a different look. It makes it cleaner. At the same time, it makes everything that's in the card pops out. But then we can keep that a negative 1/10. It's fine. Now there's this thing like there's this new kind of like design thing where you can actually change things as you go. There's nothing that is like definite. So as you go, you can change. So let's say I want to change the background. I can make the background a little bit better and do 94. and then I can change the button. So the button, I can make the button. I can use a different way of giving. Sorry, not a button, but a different way of giving the menu some kind of immersiveness. So I can have maybe two here and have two here and remove the blur. See, I have something going on. So I can have -2. -2 mean that it's going this way. The shadow and the negative Y means the shadows are going up instead of going down. Okay. So let's do 8 and then let's keep the same thing. Let's do -4. Okay. So you can see that the design we have here is trying to mimic the same thing, but we're giving it a different look. So this, gives it more like a button, but then we're not going for a button. You're going for something really different. So we can change that too. So let's do -2 and maintain 8. Okay. So yes, yeah, you have it here. So everything is basically tweakable, and it's very easy to customize what you want. So I think I would leave with maybe I'll do one thing and then I'll leave with this session closed. But we're able to replicate this particular UI, make it a bit more different and kind of bring, some understanding that we've kind of had about it, and then, bring the same, effect. We made, we choose an icon. We went through the process of, looking at what, contrast is, how to be able to set your content apart. We also looked at layout, and we're able to do a lot of things. And I hope the next session we have even an interactive one where you guys chip in and then we kind of change things as we go. And that's what makes this fun, and it makes everything that you're learning so much better. Okay, this is fine. So yeah, so basically, I think we're going to end here. I think this is the the close off design. What we can do is I'll post this on the groups, and I'll send you guys the actual design, so the image, and then you can replicate it when you have the time.
Let's push it in the chat.
TD, tidy.
Let's just go through.
What is tidy?
You mentioning to make sure the icons match the timing.
Ah, okay. So basically, sorry. So basically, the icon, the these things. So when you click, let's say you want to tidy something. Let's say you have. Let me just mess things up so that we can tidy them. So let's say you have this one here and you have this one, go over the top, and then you want to tidy them. You can click on it and then click on what you want to also align. Alignment, bring this within. So when you hover on it, you see it will tell you align vertical centers. So it will align it perfectly vertically. And then when you also want to align this perfectly vertically, you can do the same thing, align that perfectly vertically. And then when you want to align it like horizontally, this sorry, it's still vertical, yeah. When you want to align it vertical, when you want to align this vertical items well, you can click on all of them and align them vertically by clicking here. So it aligns to the left and makes everything, fits into the box on the left side. And there you have it. That's how you align certain things. But if you're talking about auto layout, I think if you want to have more tutorials on auto layout, what I would do is subscribe to the Super Peer. So I have a session there, so you can go to superpeer.com I'll just leave the link in the show notes or in the chat. So you just go to Superpeer and then you add the NAMIG. So I'm just going to put the link there, and then you book for a session. It's free. I'm always available. The available slots are there. You can just click, and then I'll be there to assist you. With whatever concern you have. Sometimes I might be busy, but most of the time, if what you need is very, very important, I'm there for you. And I have some paid sections. If you cannot afford it, it's fine, but you can use the free sessions. But if you can't, I'm all available for you. Yeah, I have a 30-minute session. I have a design interview prep. I have a whiteboard challenge, which is for mid-level designers who they are early stage designer, but like they feel like they are mid-level designers in the space, and then they want to kind of push what they can do. Okay, so that the link is in the chat. I hope you guys can see the link. You just go to the chat. It's there. So I think we've exhausted our time. 1 hour is fine. We can. I think this is Google Pixel 2 XL. Okay, so let me see. Oh, okay. Okay, so I think. Yep. So I think we're going to do one last thing and then just say goodbye. Okay, so I think the mascot didn't well with it. It didn't work well with it, so we're going to leave it that way. If we want to post it, we can have a 16. So let's do 800 and the other one 600. Okay, so basically this is for posting. So we can download our design. We can export our design and then I didn't bring my mouse, so everything is a bit slower. Okay, so we can export JPEG. So normally to get the highest quality, you can use 4x. And yep, so we can save it and we bring this over here. We have the same thing. So mostly I just go for the frame. Frames work faster. So frames, we have iPhone X. No, so we'll do the same thing over here too. So I think it's measurement. So most of the time, like I just divide it by 4 and then have the size over there. So 360, 800, which is basically 180, and then 400. Yeah. So you have the size over there. Yeah. So you're going to post the picture in the, and then tweak it a bit to kind of have. So we're going to give this 20. Now it looks like a mobile. Yes, nice. So we can even add few stuff. So these things are just, they are just, they don't make anything, but you just watch. Like I'm just trying to make something. Yep. So yeah. So basically, select really, really high colors. Let's do, yep, let's do 90. Yep. So let's do this right now. Let's finish this. And what we can do is to add an effect. So the effect is called layer blur, and you can do 100. And basically it blurs the background, and that's how blurry effects. And then you can lower the color. You can do 20, and you have this sick effect over there. And for this, I'm going to use a new morphic thing. So this thing is just to show off, but you don't have to know all this. This is like more of like a show off, but it's nothing really giddy weird. It's exploration into something else and trying to figure out like how well to make that design a bit. So basically, this is this is just to showcase that you could do a lot of things in design. And thank you so much for joining the session. Um, if there are anything you need, like I said, the link is in the show notes, and I'm also able to kind of have a chat about design and you know, other stuff that's really important. Now let's do 20. Okay. I think we should change the color. Color is not that dope. Let's do yellow and see. Oh no, yellow is not also nice. Okay. No, 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 no. I think we're going to take the color that we picked. So nice, 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 nice. Okay, so I think we are certainly done. Ouch. There's so many things that we could create here, but then I think this is fine. Like we've done so many of the things. Um, so there's other things we could do, but I think this is okay now for now. For now, Wait, let's just keep it this way. So this is the frame that we have. So we have this. So I'll call it the weather app. So as you can see, this is the weather app that we've been able to create. Yeah. So Kelvin, if you have any inputs, you can give, and then we end the session.
Yeah, so Hakim, thanks a lot. I think you've actually made your version of what I did earlier, and it looks dope. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining the session. And as Hakim said, you can send him a message or email, or maybe if you want to have a chat with him, or yeah, anything related to design, you can send him a message or a chat. Then you can pick it up from there. So thank you guys for joining the session, and Hakim, thanks a lot for today's session.
Okay. I hope this thing records though. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.
Yeah, bye then.